I'll have you know that sometimes these videos are short just because there isn't much to a game mechanically. In the case of Puzzle Boy, I'm looking at a list of 5 things to talk about, and none of them are especially deep. So things are going to go a little bit fast here. The Puzzle Boy series is a little bit complicated. It technically starts with Maze-kun, a computer game that Atlus developed and Nihon Telenet published. Then Atlus started publishing games themselves and created Puzzle Boy for the Game Boy. That was one of the very first Game Boy games. Atlus then published Puzzle Boys, plural, for the Famicom Disk System, one of the very last games released on that platform. Puzzle Boys contained a mixture of new and returning puzzles from the previous games. And then that brings me to Puzzle Boy on the PC Engine, which also contains a mixture of old and new content. They just can't make these things simple for people. In these games, you always play as a vegetable, and you're presented with a series of puzzles where your only goal is to get to the exit. Puzzle Boy offers 4 game modes. Okay, 3 of them are really the same game mode, just with different player configurations, but you have a list of 4 at the menu. There's Puzzle Challenge Mode, where you pick out a difficulty level, and then can jump to one of a list of puzzles at that difficulty. The last 4 are locked until you complete the rest, though. The trial game modes are a race against the clock. You still have your choice of 4 difficulty modes, but you're given 5 minutes to complete as many small puzzles as you can. These puzzles are usually pretty streamlined, with one basic trick to figure out and then get past them. If you can clear 10 puzzles in 5 minutes, then you win. You can play trial mode against a friend, the 2 of you racing on the same PC Engine, or if you're both very rich and have your own PC Engine GTs and your own copies of Puzzle Boy, then you can connect the 2 portable Game Boy-like PC Engine systems together and go head-to-head that way. Regardless of which mode you're playing, all of the puzzles work the same way. There are 3 features that make up every single stage. You can have blocks that you can push but not pull, just like in the classic puzzle game Sokoban. Though unlike Sokoban, these blocks aren't just limited to one square. They can be much larger and oblong. A feature that often connects with the blocks are holes. These just block your movement, but if a block isn't supported by any ground underneath any part of it, then it falls in the hole and becomes new floor. Just keep in mind that if there's even one single square underneath a block, no matter how large it is, then it won't fall. And then the final thing that makes up puzzles are the rotating blocks. These turn on the pivot point when you press into them. Of course, the surrounding blocks that they'd have to move through also have to be clear. So when you encounter these pieces, the puzzle usually requires that you figure out how to make a clear path, whether to move a block through them, to be able to rotate the block into a position that's useful, or to just let you get past. Pushing into the block sucks you forward 2 spaces, and that's actually my one complaint about this version of Puzzle Boy, because your movement is a little bit touchy, and you'll often find that after you pivot a block, you'll take one more step that you hadn't intended. Since a lot of puzzles allow you to make irreversible steps, going 1 extra square could mean that you need to restart. There is no way to rewind a step. Instead, you can press button 1 to reset the puzzle, or you can press button 2 to bring up a menu that lets you, well, reset the puzzle. It's that or quit. When you complete a puzzle, you get a password, and completing all 20 puzzles in a difficulty stage will give you the credits. And there you go, that is everything there is to Puzzle Boy. I told you this one was simple. The few comments I could find from Japanese players were all along the lines of, it's good enough. Not the most enthusiastic endorsement, but it's not like anyone was down on it. One person did say that they thought the game might not be very popular because at that point publisher Nihon Telenet was developing a bit of a reputation for poor quality, but I think that's going a bit far. As for my feelings on Puzzle Boy, well, if you've watched a lot of my videos, then you know that I like puzzle games quite a bit. And Puzzle Boy's a decent one. I'm not going to say that if you're watching this footage and you aren't going, oh, I've got to try this one, that there's something extra special about it that makes it worth trying out. It's just a nice set of puzzles. Sometimes that's all a game needs.